Yeah, Melissa, welcome back.
Yay! I had to go wash my hands because I was covered in goop. Okay. So like I was saying, this right ventricle here pumps the blood from the heart to these lungs in order to pick up some oxygen and to get rid of some carbon dioxide. Then this really big left ventricle of the heart has to pump that blood all the way out to the tip of the elk's tail and all the way down to the tip of the elk's feet. So this big left-hand section has to pump the blood really far. So you'll notice it's a really big muscle, huge, huge, huge muscle. The right-hand side is small because it only has to pump to the lungs, which are right next door. If you look inside of the heart, you can actually find some little chunks of blood. So this right here on my finger is a blood clot. Have you ever heard of someone having a blood clot inside of one of their blood vessels or inside of their heart? So this is what a blood clot looks like. And this can cause a lot of problems because it means that the blood can't get the oxygen out to the body's cells. And instead, those cells are going to die. That's what leads to heart attacks, is when you get a blood clot in one of these blood vessels that's right here on the surface of the heart. There's a really big blood vessel that runs right across the surface of the heart here, and that one often gets blood clots inside of it. So what questions do you guys have about the heart? Is there something you want to see?
I would like to ask some of if they have so ask. So Melissa, we have a question from one of my students. Some close.
What are the functions of 4 chambers in heart?
Ask again.
What are the chambers of 4 chambers in heart?
No.
Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad you know that there's 4 chambers in the heart. Chamber means room. So the 2 top chambers are the atria. This over here is the right atria, and this right here is the left atria. I always tell my students that they remind me of elephant ears. So you know how elephants have those little flappy ears? These kind of look like little elephant ears on top of the heart. And then the other 2 chambers, the ones that are big and strong and muscular, are the ventricles. So we have a ventricle here and a ventricle here. The right side of the heart goes to the lungs. The left side of the heart goes to the body. Humans and most mammals have what's called double loop circulatory systems, which means our blood goes heart, lungs, heart, body, heart, lungs, heart, body, over and over again in those 2 loops to do that change of gas, carbon dioxide and oxygen with the lungs, and that change of gas, carbon dioxide and oxygen with all of your body's cells. That was a great question.
Any more questions regarding this particular topic? Anyone? Whether it is Varshita or Nahin or anyone? Because this is really interesting experiment as per my knowledge. I think we have never witnessed such a live experiments that we have just seen.
One of the kind of cool things about this elk is it was actually hunted by one of my students. So we eat elk here in the United States, here in Idaho. We eat elk as like hamburger and steak. And so one of my students actually hunted this elk and then brought me the heart as a present.
Yeah. So Melissa, I have one more question actually, and you have just told that your student who hunted that particular animal. In your system, that means in the government of your region, in your country, and does the government allow the students to hunt the animals? Is it not a criminal offense?
Yeah, we have what we call the Fish and Game. It's part of our government. So we have the Idaho Fish and Game Department. They work for the Idaho state government, and their job is to make sure that we don't hunt too many animals and that we don't hunt animals that are in danger. So when you want to hunt an animal, there's only certain times of the year that you're allowed to hunt, and there's only certain weapons that you're allowed to use. Sometimes you can hunt with a bow and arrow. Sometimes you can hunt with a gun. Sometimes you can hunt with traps, but you can't hunt with all of those all year long. The Fish and Game controls which ones you can do. And if the animal is rare, we don't have as many of them, you have to get what's called a tag in order to hunt them. And this tag tells you that you're allowed to try for a certain kind of animal. So for example, bears. We have bears in Idaho. And in order to hunt the bear, you have to have a bear tag that says you can try for a bear. Bighorn sheep, like the sheep that have the big horns on the side of their head, we have those in Idaho too, but you have to have a tag in order to hunt a bighorn sheep. You can't just go out and kill one if you see one. So it's really important that the government helps us control the amount of animals in a population so that we can keep our animal populations healthy. You guys may have talked about in biology that when you get too many animals living together, they can actually get sick easier, and they actually don't have as much food and water to spread around. So when our populations get big, we want to go in and hunt. We want to take some of those animals out of the population. But when our population gets really small, then we need people to not hunt because we need to have a chance to get that population up again. So it's a really important part of what we call wildlife management or population control for our animals living here in Idaho so that we can continue living with those animals and having those animals around, but still get benefit from them.
So actually one more question I have, you have just shown that particular animal's heart. How long you would like to use that particular animal's heart in your classroom? That means once you get it from one of your students, how long do you use it? Do you use it for months or for weeks or for days?
That's a good question. So this animal, this elk, was actually killed back in October. And they brought me the elk heart in a plastic bag, and it's been in my freezer since October. So I've kept it in the freezer. I knew I wanted to do the dissection yesterday, so I went ahead and got the heart out of the freezer yesterday morning and thawed it. And I actually have sitting in my sink right now another heart. I don't know if you can see this in my sink. I've got another heart and lung there. So that's been sitting in there since yesterday. So 2 or maybe 3 days is about max. And at the end of the day today, I will have to throw them away. I have a couple of students who are very sad because they want to eat them. Elk heart tastes good. And so a couple of my students really want to eat the elk heart, but it's been sitting out on a table. And it's been, bacteria, the warmth of the classroom. So it's not safe for them to be able to eat it anymore. So at the end of the day today, before I go home for the weekend, because we don't have school tomorrow, before I go home, I will put everything in the trash can, and our janitors, our custodians will take the hearts away. So 2, maybe 3 days. And that's why every year I ask a student to hunt me an elk again. Every year I have to ask for a student to bring me one as a gift. When you get to be a science teacher, you get to ask for weird gifts from your students.
Sure, definitely. But unfortunately, the science teachers in my school and elsewhere in my region don't show this kind of dissection experiments, because once you show these kind of experiments, it actually creates a lot of scientific temper among the students. But unfortunately, we don't have such experiments done by the teachers. But this particular experiment done by you actually created, definitely must create a lot of scientific temper and maybe curiosity among my students. And students, do you have still any questions regarding the science or biology and anything? Do you still have any general questions other than the experiments? And anyone most welcome, because we have a great teacher here. And Melissa, I have just seen one picture on your Facebook that you have already had the one photograph with your present president of the United States of America.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I've actually had my photograph taken with President Obama and with President Biden. So I've had my picture taken with two of our presidents.
That's really great honor, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. It's really nice. Both of them were very interested in science, and they were very interested in students. They thought it was important that our students in the United States of America learn science so that they can be good global citizens.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Varshita, do you have any question? Ramakrishna, Karthik?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please, go ahead and ask the question, because we have.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead, ask.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. My name is Vashita. I'm studying 9th grade. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. Can I ask a question, ma'am?
Yes, definitely.
What kind of career opportunities are there for biology?
Will you ask that one more time? I only heard part of the question.
What kind of career opportunities are there for biology?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think that would take a long time for me to answer, because there are a lot of different careers that involve biology. It kind of depends on what you're interested in. If you really are interested in the human body and how our bodies work, it would be great if you went into a medical field like a doctor or a nurse. If you're interested in what I was talking about a few minutes ago with making sure that we only hunt animals at the right time of the year and making sure that we maintain populations, you can go work for a conservation group and do what's called population biology. There's studies on genetics. The people who discovered the vaccine, there's 4 or 5 different vaccines right now for the coronavirus. So the people who discovered that vaccine had to know biology. My daughter is actually going to college right now to be an engineer, but she wants to be the kind of engineer who makes body parts for people who need them. So she wants to be able to design artificial limbs, artificial arms and legs for people, but she has to know biology in order to do that. So there's lots and lots of different ways that you can use biology in a career.
That's really interesting. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, do you have any question? Kali Krishna. Possibly.
So my students are about to walk into the classroom here, so I've got about 5 minutes, but you'll probably get to see some of my students as they come into the room. I'm going to put my mask on because my students are about to walk into the classroom.
So students are requested to look at have the students. They are about to the class.
Do you guys want to come say hi to the kids from India?
Hello.
Come say hi, Gray.
So any
These
more
are the
questions?
students from India.
Any more questions? We have less time is left, students, and you can ask any question if you like to ask. Very less time is left. Melissa, we are so thankful to you for the coming to your classroom so early for the sake of my students. You have done a really marvelous job. Actually, you enthralled we were really thrilled to watch some of the experiments that you have just told. And we have never witnessed such experiments before and in our classrooms. So it's really a great experience for me and for my students. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. We look forward to see some more experiments by you in the near future. And so, what actually liked my students maybe a snake and your dissection experiment, and even strawberries also I think it really created a lot of curiosity, interest, and science temper among my students. So students,
Come say hi to
say
my
bye.
students from India.
Thanks to Melissa for
Come wave to them. These are kids from India this morning. Well, thank you for letting me join you this morning. It was a great way to start my day. And it was so nice to see so many of your faces and hear your questions about science and biology. I encourage all of you to keep studying and keep doing your homework. Keep listening to your teacher. He's got lots of great things to tell you. And I think all of you are going to have fantastic futures. So I'm going to leave you with my motto of fail forward.
definitely get inspired by your model of failing forward. So thank you so much, Melissa. See you soon.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye, madam.
Bye, madam.
Goodbye, teacher.
Bye,
Goodbye,
madam.
teacher.
Bye, madam.
Bye, madam.
Bye, madam.